This is a video of a game session of Agricola Revised Edition, a 3-player game with the Bubulcus deck. Thank you. This is not a playthrough. The game's already been played and finished. This is a replay of the edited highlights. I hope you enjoy. In this game session, I was going to base my strategy on these two bonus point occupations, which I managed to draft. The estate master is all about getting veg and filling up your farmyard spaces by the end of the game, and the housebook master is all about getting renovated to stone by round 11. So these are two things that are going on in the back of my mind. I'm trying to get veg and I'm trying to renovate as quickly as possible. In round 1 I was going last, but I paid 2 food to play the childless occupation. This is going to help me getting veg in the game, which will be useful for the estate master later on. And also, if I can get a grain from this card and get the clay oven built, then that's going to be a food engine for me. So for my second action, I actually took stone from the resource market for that reason, to help build myself that clay oven. But to benefit from that childless occupation that I played, I need to have 3 rooms. So my next 4 actions over the next 2 rounds were all spent getting the resources and building the rooms. So at the start of round 4, I had 3 rooms, but just 2 people, which means that I received a crop and a food thanks to my childless occupation, which I played. As for what to do in round 4, I went for 4 wood because I have these minor improvements that cost a ton of wood, as you will see. And also for my second action, I went for the resource market because I don't have enough food for the harvest. But also I managed to take a reed because of that renovation strategy that I have going on. But yes, I just scraped by for harvest by going to the resource market twice, and the childless occupation has given me some food, but these are my only sources of food. At the start of round 5, my fiance is still employed at the nunnery garden, so bringing home veg and a food this time, which is going to be very useful. Also, this round I go for 3 clay for the oven, and this is my last chance to play this minor improvement to get the benefit of it, which is the chain float, costing a lot of wood, but this is going to help me fill up my farmyard towards the end of the game, giving me 3 fields, which is going to help the estate master score for me. Round 6 presented a dilemma for me because I needed the clay oven and I had the resources. I was going first, but I was tempted by the 6 wood. Now purple, they had the resources, but they didn't have any grain to bake. So I thought I was safe going for the 6 wood, but then purple announced that they were going to build the clay oven. And do you know, as a rule of thumb in Agricola, if there's an action that you really need to take, you just need to take that action. So this was a bit of a nightmare for me, but I got away with it on this occasion because Purple changed their mind and went for house redevelopment, which I graciously agreed that they could do, so that I managed to get the clay oven and that bake bread action for 5 food. In round 7, Basic Wish for Children finally appeared, which meant that I could grow my family. It would have been a disaster for me at coming out so late, only the childless card was really good backup. From that occupation, do you know, I received 2 veg, 2 grain and 4 food from that one card for doing nothing except for playing the card. So that was great insurance, but I finally got to grow my family and I played the Hayloft Barn. Check this card out. If I can obtain grain 4 times, then I will get a family growth without a room action, which is pretty amazing. And that will mean that I can just keep my house to 3 rooms, I think, which will be easier to renovate and will help me with the renovation strategy, the housebook master. The Hayloft Barn caused an argument in this game and in the previous game where I saw it played. Players don't think that whenever you harvest a grain, you are obtaining a grain. I looked up the rule in the rule book at the time where it says goods and where it talked about the harvest. Couldn't find the clarification. Later I went on Board Game Geek and asked about it. Somebody pointed out that the rule is in the rule book, perfectly explained. So I was obviously mortified because there is this thing where we go on Board Game Geek and get other people to look up the rule book for us. Obtaining 4 grain is just not as easy as you might think, but in round 8 I managed to move things along by playing the patch caregiver, which I was able to pay food, and that let me obtain a grain, which triggered the hayloft barn. And also this round I managed to sow a grain onto that patch caregiver card, which is a field, which is going to help me start to produce some grain. And I build a grain depot, and I build it with stone, so I'm going to obtain 4 grain over the next 4 rounds. So I'm really sorting out that hayloft barn, and it's now round 9, and I want to be renovating to stone by round 11, but I am in a wooden shack at this point, so I really need to get a move on with that. So what I do this round is I play the plumber, who's going to help me with getting my renovation done. In round 10 I used the plumber to finally renovate to clay, and I built the stone oven. I had 2 grain, and that gives me a baked bread action, and I baked one of those in the clay oven and one in the stone oven for 9 food. In round 11, purple took the major improvement action space, which meant that I wasn't going to be able to renovate to get the full benefit of the housebook master. And I think I actually forgot that the housebook master, I needed to play him before doing the renovation, so I made sure I did that this round anyway. And then also at the start of round 11, the hayloft barn triggered, and I got a family growth, a newborn, at the start of round 11, which I was going to be able to use round 12. And I took start player in the hope that, yes, urgent wish for children has come up at the start of round 12. So that means I now have 5 family members, which is going to be fantastic. I finally renovate to stone, so I only get 2 bonus points from the housebook master. I also use the grain utilization space to bake 3 grain for 13 food, and I sowed the 2 veg that I have because I'm really now at this point thinking about how to make that estate master work for me. But I couldn't fill my farmyard by the end of round 13 for that harvest, so that the estate master, it did not score. But in round 13, I actually did pick up 9 wood for 1 action because purple had not done family growth, so they weren't taking a lot of action, so the resources had been building up, so that worked out pretty well for me. But in the final round, I did manage to score the estate master. I filled up all my farmyard spaces by building some stables, and that managed to harvest 4 veg for 4 points, 4 bonus points. And I also managed to play another bonus point occupation, which was the organic farmer, but I hardly got any animals, so I didn't really get the benefit of that card. But still, I managed to score 19 points off cards in this game. That was 11 bonus points, and I'm at for a total score of 56. Now, was that a winning score? Well, let me know in the video if you'd like a replay from the other player's point of view, because blue was up to something very curious over there with this strange situation of having ended the game with just 2 stone rooms and yet having 4 people because of this stable in the middle of this big field, and also a caravan. So very strange accommodation arrangements in the farm down the road. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. Do let me know if you'd like to see another in the comments below. Thanks to all of the subscribers here at the Unfussy Board Games channel. I will see you in the next video.